Is Ed, brought to you by the Caregiver Space. Wow, I was looking forward to this the last couple of weeks. We have someone, a special guest here today that's going to inspire you, educate you, and give you hope and do whatever it takes on your end to listen to Patricia. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you.
Patricia, a little background. Patricia is a caregiver and she's going to tell her story. But the story here really is your story, meaning that what Patty lives every day, you're living with every day. And I thought having her on would be very educational, inspirational. You're always hearing Edward saying, oh, you can do this, oh, you can do that, you can move more, you can take the stairs, you can exercise. I thought we'd bring someone in who lives your life, who can talk about her journey, not just with weight loss, but how she's been able to infuse herself with the proper energy and focus to be able to be the best possible caregiver. First, like to say, welcome, Patty. And secondly, tell us a little bit about your situation. What's going on with you as far as a caregiving role in your life?
My caregiving role right now is I'm taking care of my mom full time. I've been back in the house that I grew up in since 2008. What happened back in 2002, I was living on Nantucket and had received a phone call that my father had had a heart attack and he was going to need open heart surgery. And it led to 2 years of him being in and out of hospitals and nursing homes. And what I started doing was, besides working a full-time job and a part-time job on Nantucket, I began commuting to Connecticut Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it was visiting him in the hospital, helping my mom with whatever she needed, back and forth. And my father passed in 2005, and it became difficult for my mom to take care of herself. So she had some bad medication, she had a fall, she had landed in a nursing home, and they were gonna keep her. And I felt that we were gonna lose our family home, and I didn't want that to happen, so I made a decision to leave Nantucket and pull her out of long-term care and take care of her myself. So I began with occupational therapy, physical therapy, a home health aide, and speech therapy. And little by little, everyone went away. We kept the home health aide. It became a situation where she was able to help her with her personal needs. And that became my time when I could actually leave the house for a couple of hours. And I would use that to go to the gym.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your everyday life. What time you get up? You know, your typical week in Patty's life as a caregiver for your mom.
Well, my typical week, I plan everything out. I hear her getting herself out of the hospital bed. That's my alarm clock in the morning. And from there, I prepare her meals. She can get breakfast for herself. I prepare lunch and dinner. I do the doctor's appointments. I do the wash, take care of the inside of the house, the outside of the house, and get her to anywhere she needs to be.
What kind of support do you have beside yourself in taking care of your mom?
I am the sole caregiver. Like I said, I do this full time. I do have an agency that I work with that comes in twice a week for 2 hours.
Okay, so not a lot of time. So now we're going to talk about, that's an incredible story in your journey with weight loss. When I say weight loss and becoming fit, what triggered you to get onto a fitness and weight loss program? And give us a little background on maybe not necessarily your exact weight of what you were, but how much weight you've lost, and tell everyone watching right now a little bit about your journey with your fitness and weight loss.
Well, I was overweight, and a lot of people discouraged me from moving back home and being my mother's caregiver because they felt that I was going to suffer burnout, and I knew that I didn't want to be in a position where I was rolling out of bed, being in my pajamas all day long, and napping. And I knew that I had to take care of myself. So working out was something that I knew I had to do. I needed to lose weight. So I explored, what am I going to do? And I took some one-on-one training. Got a blueprint for what I needed to do. Mm-hmm. Got myself a recumbent bike, which I have at the house. So I made myself move, and I feel so much better because of that. And I dropped 40 pounds. And
Well-
I've kept that weight off.
And that's good. But for those of you watching right now, you know what a recumbent bike is. A recumbent bike is a bike in which you sit in, where your back is supported. Like right now, I'm sitting in a chair, and the wheels are in front of you, and it's able to support your back and your knee so that you're able to do cardio, which is the number one factor for losing weight, by the way, and you're able to get on it at any time. Having that recumbent bike, how did you hear of Exude? Tell everyone, it's kind of a cute story. How did you come across Exude?
I came across Exude because I was in Manhattan. I was helping my friend Private Chef on Park Avenue. And I met Edward on the train, and he was in a business meeting, and I kept answering all his questions, butting in and saying, you know, I like to work out. I've always done this. And he invited me to come into New York. And I thought I was going to die because I thought I knew what I was doing. And after 12 minutes, I was on a bike. I was sweating. I was learning that I was never pedaling fast enough. And I decided to come into the city once a week and train with Exude. And
Well, let me ask you something. Tell people what that commute is, because people's commute every day. How long does it take you from your home in Connecticut to get to Manhattan?
it takes me 40 minutes to drive to New Haven, and then 100 minutes on the train, and then I had to walk 10 blocks to 55th Street at the time, and I worked out for an hour, and then I did the 3-hour commute back.
And now obviously you're educated on your own, you know what to do. So what would you say to people out there, other caregivers, number one, that don't feel they have enough time, and two, what were the mental ramifications and the mental toughness and the mental benefits of working out, aside from the physicality? You lost about 40 pounds, but more importantly, you've kept it off now for what, 4 years?
I've kept it off actually for 6 years.
6 years, wow, that's
And
great.
I don't get sick anymore. I don't have to take allergy medicine anymore. Ironically, my vision improved. I had always been minus 150 in both eyes. It went down to minus 100, then it went down to minus 75. So everything got better. And I sleep really well, I feel good. And once I started exercising, I wanted to eat healthy. And I make sure that my mom eats healthy too.
Having that recumbent bike around, are you able to get your mom on that a little bit?
Absolutely. And she's 83 years old. And what I do is I send her out there for 10 minutes at a time. I'm telling her that she's going to eat in a half hour, so go out there and bike for 10 minutes. And I'll tell her when the 10 minutes are up.
And
she does it.
I'm not sure. Aside from your fitness routine, I know you have other hobbies. Tell everyone, what are your other hobbies? What do you do when you're not exercising? That's part of your everyday lifestyle. That's the first part of the question, Patty. And the second part is, what do you say to those people that are active every day versus, like you used to be, versus fitness? And can you tell the audience the difference? But let's go back to that first part, if you don't mind.
Well, one of the things that I do this time of year is I have a beautiful herb garden, herbs and vegetables, and my mom likes to sit outside. So it's good that I can be out there gardening and I can see what she's doing while she's out there. And then I know that everything is organic that's coming into the house in the summer, tomatoes, peppers, and I make a lot of soups and everything with all of that.
And I understand your mother's not the best waterer, is she?
No, she's not good at that at all. So.
But that's okay. I've met your mom, and I've spent some time with her, and she's wonderful. What about the difference between the activity, the people out there that are active, they walk up their stairs, they're making beds, and versus your fitness regimen, what you're doing now? Can you please tell everyone watching now the difference? And that I've been advocating this for years, that you can't get fit by being more active. You actually only can become more active by becoming fit. And what would you say to that?
Well, what I would say is, if you want to be in the best shape of your life, you need a plan. And it doesn't mean just going and doing what you want to do, taking a spinning class or taking a Zumba class, whatever. You need a blueprint for what to do. You have to have cardio. You need to go back to doing everything you learned in the 2nd grade. It's back to sit-ups, jumping jacks, jumping rope, stretching, doing everything in a proper order. And I do have an exercise prescription that I received from Exude. So whether I'm home or whether I go to the gym or whether I'm at the beach, I can take that program with me and do it pretty much anywhere.
So I think that's the key thing, is being organized, because, and of course the other motivation is that your body and you feel better. Talk about your stress level a little bit. What do you do? And we all have stressors in our life, but how do you deal with your stress? In addition to exercise, is going out in the garden helpful? Talk about your stress level and how you deal with that, and also your energy level, how much more, because the audience needs to know that you're not just a full-time family caregiver, but you do a lot of other things. And I'd like to know, where do you get that energy from?
I get that energy from biking. I put on music, I blast it, and I feel so much better. And after I get my workout in, I'm able to go home and I can, put on music, wash the floor, and it just
Talk to me about your stress. That's important. How you deal with your stress, aside from, because you have lots of friends that are caregivers as well. And what are the biggest complaints that you hear from other caregivers where you feel that you can lend a helping hand, such as anyone watching this show right now that want to reduce their stress and feel better about themselves?
I would tell anybody to get a recumbent bike, because if you can't leave the person you're taking care of, you can have that bike in the room with them. You can get on there 10, 15 minutes.
So little bits and pieces here and there.
Yes, you need to move.
Okay, so you need to move. What about the people that are not motivated at all? If you had to give them one bit of advice, they're not motivated, I'm not going to listen to you, what would you say is the number one factor for making proper fitness, sensible eating part of not just your life, but other caregivers' lives out there?
You have to start somewhere. You have to start moving, doing something. You can't just sit, because you're not going to be able to take care of anybody. You're going to burn out, and you're going to burn out before your loved one. You have to take care of yourself. You and I were talking a little bit on the way in today about how you were telling me that you've read, and I've read, that a lot of the caregivers out there don't even outlive the person that they're caring for. And a lot of that is, to me, not just stress, but also how these people are working, how their internal organs are working, how their energy level is. And I said to you, and that is, we need to be, as caregivers, we need to be a little more selfish, but more self-centered. Yes. Because if you go down, who's taking care of mom? Nobody. Right. And that's the norm, by the way. That's not the anomaly. That's the norm. So in wrapping up today, Patty, aside from people getting a recumbent biking, having a plan and this and that, we're going to have you back again probably at the end of the year, and we're going to field some questions from other caregivers out there that don't feel that they have the time to fit proper fitness and sensible eating into their everyday lifestyle. But in wrapping up today, Patty, what would you say is the number one reason why caregivers out there are not exercising? What does it do to? They don't have a plan. They do not know what to do. Okay, but why is that? Is it because they don't feel they have enough time? They have made futile attempts, their bodies haven't improved? I mean, you live in this life every day. What triggered you? What motivated you initially? Because I was getting heavy. I didn't like how I looked in the mirror, and I made a decision that I would put my workout clothes on my bureau at night, and didn't matter what time I was going to work out. That was what I put on in the morning, and I knew that before the end of the day, I was going to do some type of activity and keep myself in shape. So it's almost along the lines of people that work at home. A lot of business owners, small business owners, they say that if you are in your pajamas all day, you're not going to be as productive. And even when you speak to people on the phone, that they've actually done studies on this, that you feel better about yourself if you're dressed. Yes, if you're dressed, you're showered, and you're ready to go. Got it. Well, that wraps up our session today for Phys Ed, and we want everyone out there, please keep emailing us, and remember that no matter where you are fitness-wise, no matter where you are weight-wise, everyone, and I mean everyone and anyone, can improve the way they look, feel, and function. I'm Edward Jakowski, and thank you again for joining us, brought to you by the Caregiver Space.